right, we got a special guest on Music City Dichotomy tonight. He is a serial franchise of many Smoothie Kings. He is a real estate investor. He is a business coach and now add best-selling author to his resume. Please welcome Omar Medrano. He's got it too. There you go, Omar. You're a good friend, man. Thank you for being on the show.
Hey, the pleasure's all mine. I'm grateful just to have the invite.
Absolutely, man. So you just came out with this book, so we're going to cover a lot with this book. There's a lot of good stuff. Dude, I love this book. I'll just start by saying I love this book because it's so honest and straight to the point, and it builds one after the other, up to like cutting the shit,
Well, dude, what people fail to realize, if you follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and all that, I only plug shit that's real. I only plug stuff that I believe in. And when I told people that this book was legit, I mean, not because I wrote it, but I've actually, since I was in the rough draft, I've read it like a good 3, 4, 5 times. I mean, it's that good. And it's like my own baby, one of my kids.
Yeah. I love it. I was going through each chapter and it was just so real and straight to the point. And, so let me just start because I've known you for a couple of years now. You've been, you're somebody that I can always, you're very real. I can always call on you if I need you anytime, and you just give me the truth and everything. I don't know much of the backstory about how you got to where you got, because you actually said something really funny to me one of the first times I met you, because you got the car that has like the lit up stars on top and everything. I love it. But you're like, my mom doesn't even know I'm successful. So
she still doesn't, dude. She'll go to Marshall's and stuff, or she'll go to Costco and she's like, Omar, I bought you underwear, or, I got you a new pair of this or that, or are you doing okay? And this and that. And it's like, Mom, I'm not that 22-year-old straight out of LSU. I'm not a journalist anymore. I'm not struggling and all that. But
yeah.
in her head, it still doesn't compute because I quit corporate America almost 20 years ago.
And that's a dream for a lot of people, especially now, with where everything's going. I think like Gary Vee says it all the time, is like being an entrepreneur back in the day wasn't sexy. And now everybody is trying to be an entrepreneur,
Well, it's sexy because, like, if somebody would have followed me for the past 3, 4 years on Facebook or Instagram, all my trips, all the nice things, that's just a snapshot. They didn't see all the years of the grind, the hustle, the times that you're like, holy smokes, how am I going to pay the rent? How am I going to pay my employees? Right. How am I going to get this fixed and all that? It's like social media makes it look like, oh my gosh, that couple looks like they have it all. They're the perfect couple. The girl's posting, I'm with my soulmate. And 3 or 4 months later, they're like, I'm divorced. It's just, you only see a snapshot.
Right. And you talk about that, the tough times, because, now did you start with the Smoothie Kings? Because you own several Smoothie Kings in Florida.
Did I start? No, actually, my first franchise it's a very small franchise. It's called Roly Poly. It was wraps and all that. It was a learning experience. My partner, my business partner at the time, who's my ex-wife and all that, we were stuck in permitting and all that, and we had a little extra money, and it was a wrap franchise and all that we actually ate at one of the locations, and lo and behold, there's hardly any left because the business model was flawed. And I didn't know anything about business because I've got 2 degrees in journalism. What does that equal to? I can ask you, if I wasn't an entrepreneur, would you like a grande or would you like a tall with that?
So you start with this, you start with that. That does it. And that's something similar to, when I think when I met you, I still had my gym. If that's correct. I still had my gym.
When you were telling me about your struggles and all that, brother, I've been there, I've done that and all that. And the disclosure, I'm only a Smoothie King owner for the next 30 to 45 days. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was almost wondering, I think it's funny that you say that about the Smoothie King only being a Smoothie King owner because I was on a mentoring call with Grant Cardone today. He actually did the mentoring call, and he started, one thing that he was saying that was interesting is people getting on asking questions. And Grant was like, listen, you guys need to plan as you grow for what's going to take care of you in your 60s, 70s, 80s. Everybody's thinking about like what's going to take care, like you're looking at money that's going to take care of you in your 40s. You need to start looking, farther ahead. And and I kind of feel like with where I've seen, like when I first met you, I had my gym, and you had the Smoothie Kings, and I've kind of watched as time went on. I've seen that you've started moving into other arenas,
Mhm.
and I was just, I was just wondering, is that kind of something that the reason why you're moving on from Smoothie King? Is it like you're looking for something that's going to take care of you in the future, and that's maybe not it?
I I wasn't doing it, it was a vehicle that took me to point A to point B, but it for many years it fulfilled me and fulfilled what I wanted. And I went to school in Louisiana, and the company was founded and based in Louisiana. So I had that emotional pull. But since I got in the world of the Grant Cardones, I met the Ty Lopez's, I met the coach Michael Burt's and all that. I realized that's not my purpose. My purpose wasn't to sell smoothies or proteins, or maybe that's I was living vicariously the franchisor's his lifestyle, or helping him build his dreams. And yes, it got me and it got my ex-wife to a point, but it wasn't fulfilling me. I was starting to wake up at night, or I couldn't sleep at night, and it was mainly because God, the universe and all that was saying, what are you doing? Life isn't about just making money, because I've always been about service. I've always been helping people. Whether that's why my Facebook page has been public for years now. And yeah, there's videos on marketing, or there's videos on overcoming stuff, personal. I've let my private life in, like if I got dumped by a girlfriend and all that, because you know what, at the end of the day, we're all human. And that's it got me to a point where I want to move on with my life.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah. Absolutely. And I think that was one of the first things I came across was, I think it was I actually think it was Instagram. And I was watching some of your content. I said, man, this guy's got some really good videos. And you said, yo, hit up my Facebook. They're longer. And that's kind of how I got started. So, it was always, I think when I came across you, it was like my situation, I had opened this gym, and I went too big too fast. I dove into a franchise. I let the founder of the franchise tell me, "Hey, man, you're going to be millionaire if you go with me," And I was
Of
like, "Well, let
course.
me let me scale it smaller." I kind of was like, "Let me start with a garage, gain some people, and then go." He was like, "No, dude, I got the answers." And I had worked with this guy in the past when I was a personal trainer, and I followed his methods that he taught me, and they worked really well. But almost something similar is like you were saying with your first franchise, is that, I mean, there was, to be exact, there was like seven of us franchises here in Middle Tennessee, and now there's none. They're all gone.
And what does that
Everybody.
tell you? Does that tell you that it
Yeah.
was a learning experience? And you know
Yeah.
what? At the end of the day, every franchise, they're there to sell stores. They're there to brand. The more
Exactly.
stores or more locations that are out there, the better they look. And at the
Yeah.
bottom line, been in the business almost 20 years, and the franchisor just really cares about his own bottom line.
That's it. And I learned that, and I realized real quick, phone calls with this guy and everything. I was like, man, he's really here for my best intentions. And then as time went on, I was like, no, no, he's not. And I thought other gyms in the area were my competition. I had a gym that was very similar to mine behind me. And then as time went on, I was like, I can't believe it, but my competition is my own franchise. The actual corporate office is just. We had a conversation one day when we were talking about marketing, and it was about the emails that go out. And they said, "Well, how do what are you doing as far as marketing and follow up and contacting people?" I said, "Well, I send out the emails, and then I can actually see who opens the email and reads it. So then I write those names down, and then I go back and I contact them." And they were like, "That was a really good idea." So then the next month, the president and founder of the franchise sends out an email and says, "Hey guys, I got this great marketing idea. You can see who opens your emails, and you should go after them. This is low hanging fruit." Now, if we can up it, you can no longer see who opens your emails, but you can pay $19.97 a month. And then he blocked us from being able to see it and then charged us a fee. And at that point, I was like, damn, I can't do this anymore. There's no way. But like you said, it was a learning experience. And I think as I was coming to the end of that, realizing that that was no longer going to be where my future lied.
Hold up 1 sec. One of the just the it's Tigers 95. False alarm. I'm sorry. I'm all right. You had an amazing night. You see, crap like that.
That's awesome,
Deal
though, dude. It's
with,
so
with
it's real. It's so real.
you see, that's what people don't understand. When you're an entrepreneur, even when you're on vacation, you're always on call.
Always
And,
on.
when shit hits the fan, you're on call. So you have to find a partner that's in alignment with that and realizes it's not 9 to 5. Hey, I'm out of town. Who cares? I'm on vacation and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, in general, dude, franchisor, he'll pitch you, he'll sell you anything else, but they really could care less.
Yeah.
And I mean, it is what it is. It was a learning experience, and now I'm like what Jay-Z would say, I'm a business, comma, man. And I'm not a businessman because it's Omar Medrano Inc. I don't represent Smoothie King. I don't represent Supercuts. At the end of the day, I don't represent any franchise because they never had my back.
Yeah.
If it was to be, it's always up to the owner. If you do great, they want to take credit. But if you're struggling and you suck, they're going to be like, hey, you know what? We didn't fail. Greg was a horrible franchisee.
Yeah.
He was lazy. He didn't know how to market. They'll never accept blame for anything.
Yeah. And that's absolutely how it was. And it was kind of like, it was real dirty too, because, the Federal Trade Commission, not to get too much into it, they have to report when these things close.
Of course.
And 2 years later, they still had me listed as open because they were slowly listing the ones that closed, so it didn't hit their numbers.
You have to disclose everything on the FTD, whether how many lawsuits you have from the previous one, how many stores closed, and all that. And it looks bad on them, but overall, it's Greg. That wasn't your calling, man. To be I know you want to be in country. You didn't move all the way from Philly to be a gym owner. You didn't.
That's it. Yeah, you're right.
Plain and
you're
simple.
right.
And that's why it didn't fail. I didn't see it as a failure. It toughened you up. It gave you experience. It gave you life experience. You learned
100%.
a valuable lesson. And it's like, okay, get up and go. And not every relationship, not every business is supposed to go forever or last and all that. It's a stepping stone. To me, it means, Greg, this isn't what you're meant to be doing. Let's move forward.
Right.
And don't live the past.
Yeah. And I think it's important for anybody that's listening or watching to know that if you're going through something like that, for me, the step that I took was I knew my gym was done. I was going to have to move on. And I ended up coming across Coach Michael Burt, who's local to me, who you also know very well. And I said, man, I'm going to join Monster Producer. And people were like, why? Like you're closing your gym. And I was like, I need somebody to keep me, going. So I took that initial step. So what I do want to touch on is, do you have something you want to add to that?
To what? To being a monster producer?
Well, just the initial step to staying on your feet.
Staying on your feet, man. Everybody loves movies. Everybody loves watching Redemption and all that. But instead of watching it, why don't we do it? The quicker you get up, when you fall down, the greater the glory, man. I mean, we've all been there, whether it's a failed business, a failed marriage, failed relationships, broken friendships, and all that. Everybody's got a story. Everybody has circumstances. You can either be a victim to your circumstances, or you can rise up to the occasion and go, hey, watch me now.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're absolutely right with that. I just know, and I just to kind of get, I like to get kind of real and transparent and kind of maybe get across to someone who's going through something. Because I know for me, it was like people see I have not reached success myself. I see you have success, but what people see with um, cars and vacations and everything they're doing, they don't realize how lonely it is. And I didn't reach the loneliness from being successful at the top, but I know along the way of having that gym, I was extremely lonely, especially at the end. I felt the loneliness, and I did have one specific person who was very good to me, and this person was like, "Look, if you rise to the top and you're successful, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be me to make sure that you stay you and stay level headed. But if everything crumbles and falls, I'm also going to be there to kind of help you back up." Did you have somebody like that?
Oh, completely, completely. And it's this, when you go through shit like that, when you go through failure, when you go through bankruptcy, when you lose everything, you realize who's actually there for you,
Yeah,
who's in your
right.
corner and all that. Believe it or not, I would have to say my ex-wife to this
Hmm.
day. And maybe it's because we have kids and we always love each other and things didn't work out. But yeah, when I was going through a rough patch, or whenever I do, she tells me to keep on going, whether it's the book or the podcast now, or just that
Yeah.
I had the courage to just start all over again.
Yeah. And it's and that's like you said, that's where you find out where your friends are. I had like a record deal in the past, and I had some big songwriters in the mix and everything. And I was like, man, I can't believe I'm like writing with these people and working with these people. And then when everything fell apart with the deal, everybody was gone. Like everybody just disappeared. And I was like, oh, and that was my first taste of like, wow, this is kind of what it's like in business, not just music business, but business. So, it's important to figure out who those people are, especially, this one person. I'll have them in my life the rest of my life.
But
But
the more you become successful, your inner circle just starts shrinking too.
yeah,
It starts shrinking, and it's sad, but it is lonely at the top. But also, you realize that you'll have a lot of these fake people that want to hang out with you because they feel like you can pick up the tab. What
right,
what can
right.
you do for them?
You know, there is a chapter in your book, and I do actually want to get into your book.
Whatever you
But
want, brother.
there's a chapter in your book, and I don't mean to skip ahead. Try
You can skip ahead. You can do whatever you want,
Yeah,
Greg.
I have like the notes written down from it because I loved everything, but you were really talking about how, and I want to say it was like chapter 10 about handling the success, and you were talking about how people are going to tear you down, and that's just somebody hasn't gotten what they wanted. And I think about Ty Lopez, who's one of your friends. A lot of people hate on Ty Lopez, and I think from a distance because he flooded your YouTube. Because I have somebody I know who's like that, who just has all these ads on YouTube. I would just, I mean, I'll be straight. It's Vinny Sant from V Shred. You will see the V Shreds all over. And I'm like, man, people don't even know Vinny. Like, if you really looked at Vinny and what he did, you would really like, he's really doing something that works and it helps people. And I feel like, I think everybody's so quick to jump to negativity that if you actually sat down, what was the course that Ty did about if you do this for so many days, it was like called 67 steps or something.
Yeah, the 67 steps.
Yeah.
But the thing is, people hate on it, but if you're obscure, nobody hates you.
Yeah.
You have to get your way out of obscurity. I mean, what separates the good from the great is to be known. And it's like we're both in the program, Grant Cardone. If they don't know you, they won't flow you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
that's true. I mean, people hate Ty Lopez. They feel that it was all fake. It was all a
Mhm.
sham. I mean, the guy bought all these bankrupt companies now.
He owns
Radio,
Radio Shack, right?
yeah, and
Yeah.
Dress Barn and all that. I mean, if it's all a scam and all a fraud, or all these defunct companies going, hey, let's get into the Ty Lopez. I mean, I've visited his mansion.
Yeah.
I met him through I was part of his mentoring program for a year where you got to hang out with a guy, him and his partner Alex Mayer and all that. And we got to hang out in Omaha, places like that, to see how Warren Buffett does it. And when you always have to strive, you always have to suck it up, have your ego in check, and want to hang out with people that are way richer than you, way
Right.
smarter than you, way more connected than you. Because, like with that cliche, if you're the smartest guy, if you're the best looking guy, if you're the wealthiest guy in the room, then you're definitely in the wrong room. And a
Right.
lot of times it's his ego. Hey, man, I'm the cat's meow. I'm all that in a bag of chips.
Yeah.
I mean, I could have hung out in the neighborhood I grew up in, which was a working class, middle class neighborhood, and go, hey, you know what? Look at me, look at me, look at me. But that's not how you
Yeah.
grow in life.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Absolutely. And I think you really kind of have to look at somebody and see what they're about. Really, because not jump back to jump back to Ty Lopez, I was unsure about Ty. And then I invested in his 67 steps, or if that's what, I don't even remember what it's called, but I invested in that, whatever it was. And I think like 3 videos in, I was like, dude, I actually like this guy. And and people don't see the Ty Lopez that sees the homeless guy on the street with no shoes and takes him in a store and buys him shoes. They don't see that side of him, to realize that.
Oh, no, because they see the snippet where
Yeah.
he's bragging. Like right now, he's completely shredded. I mean, I
Yes,
remember
he
when
is.
he was way out of shape and he just first started. He's brash. He does that. Hey, look at my
Yeah.
Lambos and all that. But that gets attention. I mean,
Hmm.
that's how he built. He's a
Yeah.
self-made guy. I mean, if anything, we should embrace him. I mean, we embrace like the Kardashians and all that, and to this day, yeah, we all know them and we all flow them, but from what?
From what?
Little.
Yeah. Yeah.
But while this guy, I mean, I applaud him. In fact, we love to build people up, but once they're successful or once they're famous, we hate on them. It was like when Howard Schultz, the founder of Starbucks, a couple of years ago, was like, "Well, maybe I want to run for president." Everybody is like hating on the guy, saying, "Oh my God, this guy's a billionaire," and he was a self-made billionaire. They acted like he was either touching kids or he robbed people, and it's like, no, he created the demand, he
Yeah.
created something, and he's a self-made guy. Let's celebrate him. Let's
Yeah.
not hate on him.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and the thing is, these are all people that you mingle with, Ty, Grant Cardone. I'm in the accelerator. I work with Grant at a lot lower level than you, striving to get to that point. Same with Coach Michael Burt. Coach Michael Burt's been fantastic. You're at a whole different level with Coach Michael Burt than I am. But it really led to your book. What if it did work? So what exactly, because I know they say everybody should write a book. What was your message that you were trying to get out when you decided to put this book together?
My message, Greg, I couldn't even talk to you like the high school version of me and
Hmm.
all that, like what it says. I mean, it took me 40 years to ask out a girl that I always wanted to ask out, that I went to elementary,
Hmm.
junior high, and high school with. It was like that. I had all these fears, these fear of rejection. I had low self-esteem, low self-respect, low self-worth, and all that. And you know what? I always focused on everything what could go wrong. If I
Hmm.
asked out this girl, oh my gosh, if I got rejected, the whole school, all of Miami would know. And we always have that fear. Well, I can't start my own business because I'll fail. Everybody always focuses on why something won't work. Perfect example. If you ask a single girl, what do I look for in a relationship? She'll be like, oh, I don't want him to be a narcissist. I don't want him to be
Right.
bipolar. I don't want him to be a cheater. I don't want this. I don't want. It's like, okay, you have this long laundry list, but what do you want? And they're stuck because all we
Yeah.
focus on is what we don't want.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's funny because I think you dive into the blackjack exercise, playing the blackjack table, around that. I don't want to give away too much of what's in the book. but you have this book's fantastic. And I don't know if I think because I have to get them through Amazon. I don't know if I can get you signed them, but I'm gonna give away 5 of them. I know
Hey,
that.
you know what? I'll get you a signed copy because you're going to come down to Miami anyways.
That's right. End of August. I know. I'm coming. I'm coming down. I'm coming down. I'm excited too.
Yeah, I
I'm
did the
excited.
marketing one a couple of weeks ago.
How
So
was that? Was it
it was
good?
amazing. It was
I'm
amazing. And this is a guy that's done, there's always something. I felt like I knew everything about marketing, and it
Yeah,
really stepped it up. I mean, I was taking a lot of notes, a
man,
lot.
that's great. I'm really excited, for that, especially because I'm I think everything with business that I've ever come to, or any kind of learning or anything like that, I've always come with the fitness side. Like even after the gym, I was like, I'm coming because I want to learn how to be an online trainer. Like, what can I do? And this was the first time that, like, when I came to Cardone this time around, I was like, listen, I'm a music artist. That's what I want to do. That was the purpose of the gym, was get it going so I could go tour and have money coming in. So this is the first time I'm going with all that.
You didn't have clarity.
Yeah,
The
that's
universe,
right.
God didn't know what you wanted. You didn't even know what you wanted. You
Right.
had mixed signals. And
Mm.
that's why if you would have gone all in, like what my book, I wish I would have had this book 20 years ago, and I'd be having my own private jet and all that. I'd be able to do
Yeah.
everything and anything. I started late and all that. And you now had the intentions of, I'm going all in. If you would have gone
Right.
all in, you would have moved from Philly to Tennessee because you wanted to be a country music.
Absolutely.
You started throwing all these mixed messages. You want to be an entrepreneur,
Yeah.
you want to do this, you want to do that. You know what separates people a lot of times is they burn the bridge. They burn everything. They have this as their only option. It's a whatever it takes attitude. Somebody asked
Right.
me the other day, what would have happened if my ex-wife and I, we would have failed at our first store? And I'm like, well, we weren't. And then it was always like, well, what if he kept on pushing and priding. I'm like, well, for starters, like I said, we both were in alignment, and we had a whatever it takes attitude. And if you want to personally know, we're both hustlers, we're both in sales and all that. And
Yeah.
I'm pretty certain we wouldn't have lived under a bridge if that's the question. So we both came from corporate America.
Right. And and that's yeah, that sums up, and that's awesome. And like you said, we've come such a long way, especially with the books, and you can get the knowledge of the people, and how everybody kind of did it and got to their point. Even there's training, like access to somebody like you, access to Coach Burt, access, Grant Cardone. I'm fortunate to be near Coach Burt, and just because with him, there's a whole network here locally,
Mhm.
so it's been real fortunate. But I want to, this book, what I really loved was how it built off of each other. And it just kind of, one that you said something to me that was really interesting. I would like for you to kind of elaborate farther with it. You said not everybody's going to get this book. Not everyone's going to understand it. So explain that, get into that, what you meant by that.
You're gonna laugh. My mom didn't get the book. She she only read a couple chapters. She said I threw her under the bus. I'm like, I didn't throw you under the bus at all. So she didn't get it. The person's, well, it was my ex-girlfriend. I wrote half the book in her apartment at the time, and she doesn't get it. She said it was a big joke and all that. So people do not
Mhm.
get it. If you go look at it this way, Greg, we have way more information on how to become successful. There's programs, there's social media, there's the Grant Cardones, there's YouTube, there's all this information out there, but yet more and more people are struggling. Back
Yeah.
then, if I wanted any type of personal development, I'd have to order like Anthony Robbins' Personal Power,
Right.
wait for a week or two for it to come in the mail, listen to the CDs or the cassettes, or there was check out a book at the library, like Dale Carnegie.
Right.
Very limited on business books, very limited on that. But now people are like, oh, well, I don't know what to do. And it's like
Yeah.
what I put in the book. Life is easy. Life is,
Yes, you did.
we just
Yeah.
complicate things. We pretend we don't have the answers. We don't know the answers. How many times have you seen people go, oh my gosh, I can't wait for a new diet to come out, or a new book to come out, or a new
Yeah.
program to come out? You know, we all know how to lose weight. We all know how to eat clean. We all pretend we don't know, because it's
Yeah.
easier to deflect, because it's hard to say, I suck. I have no willpower.
Yeah.
It's always easy to play the blame game. My genetics, my thyroid, my my junior high injury, my, you know, because it's harder to look in the mirror and look within and go, hey, you know what? I have to hold myself accountable. And once we hold ourselves accountable and we accept everything, then we get clarity.
Right. Right. You know, and I think, like you said, acknowledging your, you know, for me, my problem was always consuming content and not doing anything with it, you know, which Grant Cardone absolutely has ways that he just kicks through, like he has you kicking through that. But, you know, when I was a junior, and this is how far we've come in I guess, a short amount of time. When I was a junior in high school, for my birthday, my mom ordered, I asked for these. It was the Tony Robbins, Get the Edge. And you got the first week of Personal Power with it. And I was in high school and we ordered it through QVC. He was on QVC promoting it. We ordered it. And I look back now and those tapes are still, I still have them. They're still relevant. Like I still listen to them. They're still
And
with it.
it's still,
Yeah.
I changed my life. Well, we changed our lives, my ex-wife and I. Um, we did a UPW with Tony Robbins about 20 years ago, and the rest is history. And we did all his programs. And before that, I was always in the victim mode, and I thought it was always suck it up. Life
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah.
I never realized that there was a possibility and that we grow. And, you know, a lot of people feel like once you go to high school or you get your college degree, that's it. You're either growing or you're dying. And a lot of people quit growing. They quit reading books. There's books, there's so much information out there on how to
All right.
invest, how to create a side hustle, how to do that, but they're too busy wanting to binge watch Netflix or wait for Ozark season 3 or reruns of Game of Thrones and all that. And it's crazy as people post this crap on Facebook. Hey, anybody have a recommendation on what to binge watch? No, why don't you get off your ass? You have a whole weekend to piss away. Why don't you do something
Yeah.
right now that'll better you tomorrow?
Right. Right. Yeah. And that's really the case. And I think, you know, to give, and I think you've probably done this exercise, and I did it recently the past week, and I was real shocked. Is like, you know, Grant Cardone has you go, hey, every minute that you spend not doing something towards your dominant focus, which for me is like my music, write it down. If you're in the shower 20 minutes, write it down. Okay, I can do a 5-minute shower. Right? It added up. Everything I did, scrolling through Instagram when it wasn't posting to benefit myself, it added up to hours of
Oh
wasted
yeah,
time,
yeah.
you
Dude,
know?
the amount of hours that in a day that a person watches, and I'm not talking about social media, just TV, and they're not watching CNBC because they want to know what to invest in or what
Hmm.
the cryptocurrency is. They're watching reality TV or they're just watching crap, but yet they're gonna actually have the audacity to say that they don't have enough time in the day.
Yeah.
I mean, Elon Musk seems to be able to run two major corporations and find time to date. So, I mean,
That's yeah. Yeah.
but you're right. You hear people, if you make it a must, I make it a must to work out like twice a day.
Right.
Just wake up early, go to bed early, do something. plan it, schedule it. Don't go, oh, I don't have time for this, but you have time to cyber stalk your ex-girlfriend. That you do, but you don't have time to
Right.
work out.
Right. There is one thing in this book that that I have heard somebody say before, but I always thought it was like shit, you know, it's deep. When you cover it, write your own obituary. What would it say? I mean, and you get to that pretty quick in the book. You get to
Hey,
that
you
pretty
know what?
quick.
The one thing that people, and you should know this about my videos, my posts and all that, I'm blunt. I'm not
Right.
here to sugarcoat and all that. We know the day that we were born. That's clear. I don't know when I'm going to die. We're all living that dash. And that dash is a very powerful one. So many people are right now in their 20s and they're dead. They just don't know
I
it.
know.
They have no ambition, no goals, nothing. They're just waiting to die at 50, 40 years and all that. And I don't know if my day is tomorrow, 5 years, 10 years, 20, 40, 50
Mhm.
years from now, but you have, what do you want your legacy to be? And I said in the book, you know, divorced and all, I want, at the end of the day, I want my kids, my two daughters, to say he was an amazing, he was just dad. He was an amazing
Right.
father. And the second thing is that at the end of the day, I want people to go, he was always in service. He always was there to help people out. There was no ulterior motive. Nobody can say that I've never left them in a better mood or in a better place, whether it's
Absolutely.
my ex-wife, ex-girlfriends, and all that. They can say whatever, but I've left people, I've left servers, I've left everybody, whether it's a one-time meeting and all that. I never talk down to people. I always respect people. I've learned that growing up. You respect the cleaner just the same way as you'd respect Grant Cardone.
Yeah.
I'd give the person serving coffee at his office in Aventura the same amount of respect as I would GC.
And that's extremely important. I mean, to have that kind of respect. And I think, you know, I also have a mentor on the music side. The guy's got a lot of he's got the receipts to show. He's friends with Snoop Dogg. He's friends with all these big rappers and stuff. He's a DJ. His name's Clinton Sparks. And we were on a call a few days ago. And he said something to end the call that just was like, yeah, he's absolutely right. He's like, look, you know, to be blunt about it, it's exactly what he said was, don't be a dick, okay? Because you never know what somebody's going through. You need to respect everyone. You may be hating on somebody's music that they're working a weekend job, part-time job, making $50 a weekend to pay for their music. So like, you know, you don't know what they're going through. You don't know if somebody's struggling with depression. You don't know if somebody, you know, has a special needs child. You never know. Just if you got a problem or you don't like what they're doing, or you don't like their sound, or you don't agree with how they are, just keep, he said, just keep it moving. Just move along. You don't need to say anything because you don't know. And, you know, it goes back to what you're saying about being respectful. And I think there's a lot of that is lost right now.
Oh yeah, and then also though, when it comes to people are fearful of success because they feel like, because you know Hollywood movies and all that generalize that once you get money that you become this evil greedy bastard and all that.
Yeah.
And all success is an amplifier. If you're a very loving and giving person, all it does is you can help out more people. Now if you're a dick before success, you're going to be a major dick after
Yeah.
success, plain and
Yeah.
simple. There's no, it's not like, oh, it's not like if somebody would have given Mother Teresa $5 billion, she would have been like, oh, I hate people now, screw helping people out and all that. But we have this skewed mentality that, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that guy's successful. He must have stolen that because it's
Yeah.
scarcity mode. There, it's an infinite amount of money. There, if when Greg, when you make money, when you kill it in with your albums and all that, it's not like you're like, okay, I took this away from Garth Brooks.
Yeah.
I took this away from Trisha Yearwood. I took this away from Tim McGraw. But we have people have this mentality,
Hmm.
that that, you know, if I started to becoming a country music star, that I must have screwed over Brantley Gilbert. Like nobody,
Yeah.
and that's just a scarcity mindset. It's not, and it's like the way we print money, the government. It's an infinite supply of money,
Right.
infinite
Right.
supply of success. You're not stealing from someone else when it
Yeah.
comes to it.
And it actually goes back to, the handling of success you talk about in the book, again, going back to people trying to tear you down for what you did. I see it here, with a big artist that, I'm not directly connected to, but I'm connected to people involved with him, his dad, you know, and he's a very big artist here. It's kind of like, I almost don't want to say name because I'm connected with that side, but I'm also connected to the side where, his ex-wife was a member at my gym, and people absolutely tear this guy down for every little thing he does. And the truth is, he's actually a really great guy. He's a good dude who cares for people, takes care of his friends, but he's quiet and he doesn't say anything. He won't speak up for himself. And he's good for it. But they think because if he's quiet, he's a jerk.
Well, it's funny, and I don't hate him. I don't like him. You know, I'm way beyond his base. But it's like with Justin Bieber. I think a couple of his songs now say, "Hey, you know what? I was just a young kid.
Yeah. Right.
It's lonely and all that and all that." And I only know because my kids are into pop music, and it's like, yeah, the guy has a point. We're all hating on him, but at 16, 17. I mean, we'd all be doing the same thing. And instead
Yeah.
of putting the kid under a microscope, I mean, is he inherently evil? No, he was just a kid, like what he says in that song. And
Right. Right. I think when he was getting, I saw an interview with LL Cool J, and I don't even know what show he was on. It wasn't The View. I think it was The Talk or something. It was the one that it was one of those shows, and Justin Bieber just did something, got in a lot of trouble. I don't know what he did. I think he may have threw eggs or something in his neighbor's house, but they were tearing him apart on the show. And LL Cool J said, look, just because he has money at a young age does not mean he's mature. And they said, well, you weren't doing that. And LL Cool J said, there also, you say that, but there also wasn't camera phones around to take videos of what I was doing.
exactly. I mean, okay, I was in a fraternity, and whenever all these crimes and all that and all the press, we were doing all that crap. But even worse so back then, if the hazing has always been around and all that, nobody had a camera. In
Right.
fact, growing up, I mean, nobody would take a picture of their pizza or their lunch and all that because you'd have to friggin' go to Walgreens.
Yeah.
You would
Yeah.
have to get
Right.
the
Right.
24 pictures developed. And if you really wanted it 2 days or one day, you'd have to pay like 14, $15,
Yeah.
something outrageous, just so you can have all these out of focus pictures. So that's why I think like my generation, Generation X and older, when it comes to, it's just funny seeing people, well, here's the hot dog I had. Here's my front lawn. Here's that.
Right. Right. Man, I'm loving it. I mean, I'm loving this conversation. There's a lot of good stuff here. I want to get into some tips, that you would have, especially, like I said, everybody I think needs to get this book and go through it. You cover a few things. One of the main things is writing down your goals. That's something I do. I'm sure you do the same thing I do. I'm sure you write your goals down twice a day,
Twice a
morning
day.
and
I
night.
learned that from our uncle.
That's it. That's
First
it.
thing in the morning and right before bed. And when
So
I don't, because there's times that I'm human and I can go weeks or months, and lo and behold, jack shit gets accomplished.
yeah, yeah, you're right. Write down the goals. So what I want to lead into with that is, I know with my goals that I write down, it, the way that Cardone wants you to, they're goals that are so far out of reach for me. Obviously,
They're out of reach now though.
they're out of reach now. Yeah, you talk in the book about getting small wins, and
That's
that's
how you
and
build confidence.
and that's yeah, it's crucial. So give some examples of, let's say, step in my shoes. Okay, I'm a music artist, I need to get some small wins. What would you tell people to do what kind of, how small the wins are you talking about?
Well, with me, man, like it said in the book, I had this fear of rejection. So my small wins can be anything from asking. Yeah, well, it wasn't at the blackjack table. It was me being called Goose. Was
Goose.
just fear
Yeah.
of rejection. Was just asking, and most of those girls were plants, by the way, so they knew to say no. And you know, a small win can be anything from if you were in sales and all that and you're on a major cold streak, you go for low hanging fruit.
Right.
uh Shoot, I was, for the first time in my life after I got dumped, I was single for a good 4, 5, 6 months. You know what, I might be vulgar and all that, you don't go ask out friggin' a 10. you
Right.
you know, because then your confidence is at an all-time low. Well, here's something that I didn't write in the book. I was reliving the book on everything. What took place was 20 years ago. Here's the backstory. I got dumped by a girl. She left me for a guy that collected vinyl and all that, and it was all
Mhm.
fake confidence. Everything was fake.
Fake. Yeah.
And for a whole year, I was in pure toxicity. I couldn't, the entrepreneur plugged it this way. I couldn't even get picked up by prostitutes.
You say that in the book too. I love that.
they,
That's
would,
when I first.
they wouldn't
Yeah.
even proposition me.
He said the
So,
prostitutes weren't even attracted to me, and I read that. I
and
thought,
so
oh man, this
what
book's gonna be
happened
good.
was the girl, I asked her out and all that. We started having a relationship. She dumped me, and my confidence went from like a guy that was a financial advisor. I had no problems asking out anybody or asking for any sell, to a
Right.
person that, while I was still writing this book and all that, I remember asking out women again, and it was bleeding all over,
Yeah.
in the sense that one girl said, "Hey, ask me out tomorrow and I'll say yes." Well, she rejected me. I had another girl say, "Yeah," but then she called and then said, "Hey, I'm going back with my ex boyfriend." And then it was like, "No, no." And then I asked out a girl from the gym and she's like, "Don't you think you're codependent?" And it's like, holy, you could have just said no. It wasn't, it wasn't until I finished writing the book. I had help from people in my old neighborhood go, "Hey, you know what? Put your head back on straight. Be who you are."
Yeah.
And confidence is built with small wins.
Right.
It's like in baseball. If the home run hitter sometimes just needs a walk, just needs a bloop single and all that, because just the same way you stack up wins, you build up confidence. Well, it can be the other way around. You keep on having mishaps after mishaps, misfire after misfire.
Hmm.
It gets depleted, that confidence, and it
It
can get an
does. Yeah.
all-time low. And lo and behold, that's what happened. And it wasn't until I bought into myself again, I
Hmm.
realized who I was and what I had to offer and what I brought to the table, and then asking out women and all that, I turned it around.
Yeah. And that's a lot of people go through that, and I think it's funny. I find that interesting because you went through that. Coach Burt went through that. I remember, I had my heart broken, and confidence is such a major factor in everything, and I think when you go through a relationship, you have your thing you're doing, but you're also investing in somebody else, and then you get your heart broken. And for me, I was like, man, I gave my confidence entirely to that person, and this really, like, I have none, like, oh, it makes you a crazy person. And you say little wins,
Yeah.
start building it back up. You have to, like Coach Burt
You,
always says to me, set a goal, like, hey, I'm going to get up at 4:30 in the morning, get that, get some things under your belt.
you can, that's an easy way. If things aren't going right, wake up early, hit the gym, go for a run and all that. But it's funny, but yeah, Coach Burt was the one that first got me back. He had a private session, because I got dumped, and I was like, and at the Murph, doing one of his seminars and all that, and he sat me down and he told me the story about how his heart was broken too and all that, and he
Right.
feels my pain and all that. And he was right. Not everybody is meant to be in your life. Not
Yeah.
it was more of the uh, we all have emotional baggage. We're
Yeah.
all flawed and all that. In general, you have to ask yourself, do I accept that person? And sometimes they don't have, they're not aligned with your goals, and that's fine. And that's what probably one of the main issues was, anyways, was she was a person that lived in scarcity and was worried about success and all that, while not only was I way beyond what she was, her comfort zone, but I wanted more. I was writing a book, I was doing this, I was
Yeah.
stretching, and I'm always going to stretch. And that's why I said I'm decided to sell my businesses and go a different route. Enough of it,
Right.
because comfort kills so many dreams.
Yeah. Yeah. You're absolutely
This
right.
way, if you made enough money at your gym, you would have never really pursued, because
You know what? You're right. You're right, because I would have opened up a second and a third, and I would have just kept going. I would make this is it for
and
me.
then you know what would have happened, Greg? One day it would have hit you, the
Yeah.
sadness of regret.
Right.
Because
Right.
you know what? At 50 or 60, you can't be a country music star.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Go after the moment now. And, it just leads, all this just leads to so much in the book, especially, you talk about the past is, I know Tony Robbins always said the past doesn't equal future. You say the only way the past is good is if it makes you stronger and you learn from it, and that's one thing you cover in the book that you did a really good job covering.
It's, you know what? Look at all we have right now is now. The
Right.
problem with a lot of people is they stay stuck in that business that once was good to them.
Hmm.
Once you're in a relationship, but I remember this is the past.
Yeah.
You can't go to the past. We don't have a DeLorean. There's no time machine. That's abstract. We can't touch that. That person's no longer available. That job is no longer available. That business is no longer serving you. It's what's happening right now. And yes, you can look at the past, but say, hey, look how far I've come, man. I've lost 50 pounds. I only need 20 more to go. A lot of times people don't see the light in front of them because they're like, oh, they don't focus, maybe look behind and go, holy shit, I've come a long way.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah,
Right.
that's the only time the past serves you is as a lesson, as a reminder. Like like for you, I want you to be, you know what? I never want to open up another gym. I never want to do this or that.
Right.
Move forward.
Yeah. Just keep marching on. Keep marching
And
on.
then people love success. People love the story of redemption. And people are going to be like, holy smokes. I remember when Greg opened up that franchise, who knows what it was called?
Yeah.
Who cares? But he was
Yeah.
at his bottom. Everybody wrote him DOA. But you know what? He wasn't a friggin' victim. He rose to the occasion, and here he is.
I like the sound of that, man. See, that's
Yeah.
why you're a good coach, man. That's why I call you. That's why I call you when I'm like, man, okay, I need to get somebody to lift my spirits right now.
And don't I always?
You always do. You always answer too, man. I don't think I've ever called you and you not answered the phone, to be honest.
I can be at a kid's soccer game or something like
That's
that.
right.
And I'll be like, hey, I'll text you right back, or I'll tell you. But yeah, I mean, shit, everybody needs to hear keep on going, because so
Yeah.
many times people's dreams have just been snuffed out like a candle because somebody pissed on them. And it's
Right.
usually somebody, a loved one, a
Yeah.
family member,
Yeah,
a
it's the
friend.
ones closest to you that do it. It's
They're
terrible.
the
Yeah.
biggest attractors. And you
Yeah.
know what? I've never listened to people. I remember somebody saying, I'll never be Grant Cardone. I'll never be Ty Lopez. I'm like, good, because I don't want to be them.
Right.
I just want to be Omar Medrano. And you know
Right.
what? There's room, there's big enough room at the table for everybody in any industry. That's like me telling you, Greg, hey, you know what? You're not Brantley Gilbert. So
Yeah.
pack it up, pack it in. You're not going to do it.
Right.
Exactly. But you know what? There how many rappers are there? How many country singers are there? How
Exactly.
many pop singers are there? When there's somebody new, does that mean that somebody exits? No. There's plenty of room. There's plenty of money. The marketplace, you dictate to the marketplace what your worth is, not someone else.
Right. That's great. I love that. I love that. You know, and it really when you talk about life being simple, it really is simple. And that same person that I told you about who was there, like if I would have been successful, this person would have kept me grounded and cheered me on. And when I was at my lowest, that person was there to help me up. You know, they passed along a movie to me when I was really at a low point that almost brought, I don't even know, a set of comfort to me. I got the book. It wasn't a book. It was the movie. As funny as it sounds, it was that movie Christopher Robin, and that movie was. It's almost funny because if you have you seen the movie?
Which one?
It's called Chris. It's Christopher Robin. Ian McGregor's in it. I think's his name. He plays Christopher Robin. Who Christopher
Oh,
Robin?
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
grows up, and now life is complicated, right? And
Yes.
he's an absolute disaster. He's a mess, right? And he's all stressed with his work, and he can't see things. And then Winnie the Pooh comes along, and Winnie the Pooh's just simple. Like he doesn't understand why things. He's excited over a red balloon. Like everything's simple. And that person gave me that movie, and I was like super depressed. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like I'm going to lose everything. And I watched that movie, and it brought this sense of relief. And I was like, man, you know, it really, life is that simple. We complicate it. So when I got to that chapter in your book, I loved it because it made me think of that time. You're absolutely right when you say that.
You know, I tell people, wake up every morning. What do I have to, in gratitude, but what do I have to be grateful for? I'm healthy. I've sound mind. My kids are healthy. No issues there. My mom's healthy. My grandparents are like 96 and 92. They're still alive. So I'm blessed.
Right.
I wake up every morning knowing that I have the opportunity, that God gave me the opportunity, the chance to be the master and creator of my destiny for today. And if you stack every day as a win, if I improve tomorrow, I wake up, I'm alive, and I have a positive day, and I keep on stacking and stacking. You look behind you, and you're like, holy smokes, I can't even recognize that person from 5, 10 years ago. And I honestly don't. I don't remember. I I know all the stories, I know everything, but yeah, I laugh at who I was in high school or college or 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You just have to, and
Yeah.
this is what Tony Robbins talks about, the Kenai principle, constant and never ending improvement. Don't go swing the fences. You don't go from being 60 pounds overweight to being Mr. Olympia.
Right.
And that's, people want the microwave to success. They
Right.
don't understand that everything takes time. A business takes time. A relationship, you don't wake up 50 years married, happily married. You have to work on it, but you have to stack. And but people want it now. They want the success, they want the businesses, they want to be the hotshot entrepreneur,
Yeah.
but you have to put in your time, you have to put in the effort. And when you do keep on stacking, you get better and better and better. People ask me about the videos and all that. Why do I sound so eloquent, or why don't I mess up and this and that? And it's not because I have a degree in journalism. You can wipe your butt with that. It's just that over time, if you
Yeah.
do something over and over and over again, it's like I love to snowboard, and people are like, well, you're in South Florida. Yeah, but I'm going to be 48 in July, and I started at 22. And I'm not Sean White, but for somebody that had to travel far, but I had to fall. I had to take lessons.
Right.
I failed snowboard school, beginner's class like twice. So if
Yeah.
you want something and if you make it a must, when you fall down, just like that, or if you need someone's help to hold someone's hand to get back up, so be it. But you have two options. You can either prove everybody wrong and say, watch me now, or you can just stay on the floor. And everybody loves the pity party and the victim and all that. You'll get the cyber hugs, but at the end of the day,
Yeah.
that won't last because everybody has their own shit to worry about.
You're right. You're absolutely right. You're right. So I want to ask, based on, because you have a lot of great information in this book. Um, One thing I like to ask, especially your advice for somebody who you lose everything. Okay, let's pretend you lost everything.
Mhm.
Day 1 to day 30, what are you doing those 30 days?
Okay, well, give me 31 days. And
Okay.
this is what I'll tell you. For your cyber hugs and all that, you've got one day, your first day, 24 hours to cry your ass off, just the same as if you scored a $10 million record contract. You celebrate for one day, or you're in
Right.
your pity party for one day. You wake up the next day and you create a plan. If everybody has time to watch Netflix, everybody has time. What you need to do is you need to be clear on what you want out of life, what you want God, what you want the universe to grant you. And you have to be clear. You have to have your intentions. You have to be specific. I I want to have I want to help 10 entrepreneurs by as a mentor and to be a coach to them by August 31st, 2021. Be specific like that. How
Right.
many? Write a date. Don't say one day, because the road to one day will equal to never. As long as you're specific about your goals, I want to lose 20 pounds by July 24th. Okay, now you have your intentions. Take some more time, write down and map out your plan. Every step that you plan on doing it, get clear about it. And you know what? Do it one day at a time. Do something. Massive action on a consistent basis for those 30 days. But Greg, what about if my plans aren't working on day 5 or 6? Well, you know what? That's effing insane, doing the same shit over and over again. And
Right.
that's what resolve comes in. That's when you have to step back. And that's why you write down your shit every day, your goals and all that. You look at that, you look at your plans, what's not working, what's not serving you. You get rid of that. You scratch it out, you throw it away. You learn that was a learning experience on what not to do. So you still want to lose that weight. You still want to have those clients. You still want to do this. Okay, well, write down what these new steps are. And if you constantly keep on working, you keep on grinding, you keep on hustling. Yeah, by the time 30, 60, 90 days, whatever time you've set, you will hit that goal. But never lower your goals. Never move your target. All that means is you're going to have to increase your output if you're not there. And what I've always done is I've always written down a short-term goal, whether 1 week to 2 weeks out, then a midterm goal, 6 months to a year, long-term goal, 1 to 2 years out, 3 years, and then a 5 or 10 year goal, and write something crazy that you're like, it's not going to happen. But here, this is my bucket list. And you know what? Within 5 to 10 years, if you keep on writing that down and you keep on writing it down and you keep on, and God knows you have every intention, the universe, as long as you keep on working at it, it'll grant you that. The thing is, when people talk about the power of intentions and the secret and all that, they felt they got it wrong. Yes, you got your intentions out there, you got clarity, but it requires hard work. I can I can bring out a poster board and put the Playboy Mansion, tall boys, models, stacks of cash, and all that. That's fine and dandy. You want that. But the universe and God's not going to say, here, Omar, this is for you. No, you know what you want. You want that Lambo. You want this. You want that. Okay, you're clear on that. But what's your plans? What are you going to do to get that?
Right. I love that. And then the be specific. You keep saying be specific. I love that. It's like you said, massive action is a discipline in itself. For example, this month I had a plan to write a song with three different writers.
Mhm.
That got pushed to the back burner. I focused on all the other things and not that. And I was like you said, you cannot lower your targets. You just got to increase the action. So today I had a 10 exit. I had to send messages to 30 different writers in town to get three writing sessions. Now, did more than three write me back and say, yeah, let's write? They did, which is good because now I'm doing that, filling that pipeline.
That's
Now,
what you
next
have.
month, it's like somebody cancels, there's somebody else. So, like you said, being specific and taking massive action is extremely, extremely important.
And then you have to do the work when you don't want to do the work. That's what separates the good from the great is you bring it and you do it and you keep on. I mean, okay, I got dumped and I did 75 hard and I kept
Right.
on because I needed that. I needed the mental toughness. I
Mhm.
needed the mental clarity. I knew that if I had a goal, if I had something in front of me, that it would push me because I could have been like, well, I'm the only one that's ever done dumped. I'm the only person that's ever got
Yeah.
my heart broken. Let me just wallow and gain weight and be sad and post about how sad I am. But no, I, I worked out when I didn't want to work out because there was plenty
Right.
of times that I'm like, this sucks,
Yeah.
especially when you have to do an outside workout and it's friggin' raining. Or I was in Tennessee and in the winter and it was friggin', I'm from South Florida, so I went 40
Right.
degrees working outside. That sucks.
Yeah, right. Going through that, especially after a breakup too, mentally, that 75 hard, it's hard, right? It's hard. You're going through a tough time. And then of course you got the outside stuff, but it makes you stronger. So
But you're gonna laugh at the power of intentions and the power of writing things down. Uh, I wrote down it was like what did I want to do on day 75 and day 76. Well, I wrote down that because I when I started I was still seeing the girl, so I wrote down on day 75 I wanted to celebrate it with her, and on day 76 I wanted to go to a specific restaurant with her. Now, what makes this even more compelling is the simple fact, yeah, we grew up, but she lived in Vegas and I had stayed a week there, a week here, a week there. And lo and behold, I just wrote that out there with the power of intentions. And we never got back together, but I did get to see her on day 75 and day 76 out in Las Vegas.
really,
Yeah, and we
that's
went to
awesome.
a restaurant. Yeah, so that's why write it down, man.
Write it down.
Write whatever you want, and if you keep on working at it, you don't know how it's going to happen. But God, the universe, and all that, it all comes together.
Yeah,
But you
that's
have to know
great.
your intentions. You have to work. Nobody likes that word because it sucks
I know.
to
Everybody
lose
just,
weight or to do anything to become successful. Yeah, it requires work. Pete, that's why
yeah.
people go on Instagram and buy all these bullshit programs. Oh, 30 days ago I was mowing lawns and now I live in Malibu, but for only $50 I'll show you how you too can do it. And no, man, everything amazing takes time. And
Yeah. And you see that in anything you look for. There's a million people. Oh, I'm going to save your gym. I'm going to save your gym. Even now, there's things with music. People, oh, I'm making six figures at home and I'm a musician. I don't know who the hell any of these people are. I don't know who any of them are. You know, that's what I came across when I came across Clinton Sparks. You know, Clinton's got, like I said, receipts. He's got a resume. He's done albums with Snoop Dogg. I mean, you know, you got to find the people who are legit. There's a million people out there that are wanting to give you business advice, wanting to tell you. I came across you, and I was like, man, this guy's got Smoothie Kings. This guy, he's not just he's like me. Like, yes, I'm with Coach Burt, getting coached. I'm in the accelerator with Grant Cardone, getting help with Grant Cardone. I'm with Clinton Sparks, learning, having him mentor my music. There's always people, but I wasn't kicking it with them. Like, you are actually mingling with them. So when I saw like Omar's kicking it with Ty Lopez, it's that whole thing you said, like, hey, I need to be hanging with people that are above me. And that's where I saw you. And that's like, so that was just the one thing coming across you, is I realized real quick, like, hey, this guy's legit.
And you know what? At the end of the day, you'll never see a video, you'll never see a post and all that. Hey, call me. I'll get you famous. I'll get you rich
Yeah.
within 30 days, because it's bullshit. But it's been there from the beginning of time. The snake oil salesman that, hey, you know what? Because people want to believe that they can just relax and become passive income millionaires overnight, or
Right.
oh, do you want to be Instagram famous? We'll get you influencer status if this and you do
Mhm.
that and all that. And it's all bullshit.
Right.
Everything, everything takes time. And if somebody calls me or somebody wants to hire me, the first thing that I'm going to say is this thing, we ain't going to turn shit around in 20 days. You're not going to go from holy shit, I'm drowning, to oh my gosh, I live in Santa Barbara.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Unless you win the lottery, or Uncle Joe Bob, or somebody leaves you $10 million in their will, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. So my first question is, before I let you go, because I know I asked you for only 20 minutes and I've had you on here for a while now, so I absolutely appreciate all the time.
Yeah, I
Uh,
love you, man. For to help you out, and like I said, we're kindred spirits. You're just you are me, just younger, and I'm just further ahead in the process.
I appreciate it, man. Like I said, you've been a great friend through all of it. It was like, I didn't even say anything when it was recent. I texted you and you were like, hey, man, there's a reason you ain't sleeping at night. I'm like, dude, how you know I'm not sleeping at night? You're like, you ain't doing what you want to do.
Uh,
So,
exactly. And that's why you were shocked. Like, you thought I was like some fortune teller, or I could read.
right.
I have the ability, yes, I can read people, and that's my superpower. But it's easy to read you because I'm looking in a mirror. Everything
Right.
that you've gone through and all that, I've gone
You've gone through it too. Yeah.
through.
So
You're
is there going to be a video course that comes with this book?
Yes,
There's got to be, right?
of
Okay.
course. There's everything. What people fail to realize is this book, what if it did work? I did it to be in service. I didn't look for
Right.
a major publisher. I'm doing that to leave my legacy, to help out. Because if you can't afford $9.99, then holy shit, Plan A
Yes,
is not
exactly.
working for you. Because people will spend out. Concerts are back, and you know what? There's the VIP experience, and I see people are buying $1,000 tickets for a concert. So if you can afford that,
Yeah.
you can easily afford the book. My plans, yes, I plan on. I'm actually writing book number 2. It's called The Vacation CEO, and
Okay.
it's about how to scale. People always see me out on vacation because I don't. Uh, I owned my businesses. The businesses don't own me. But I was just like every other entrepreneur, stuck working 60, 70, 80 hours, missing family events, doing
Hmm.
all that. And that's the second book. I also plan on mentoring. I plan on helping people out. I'm going to do, Coach Burt told me that I need to start having free webinars on actual on chapters. And
That's fantastic idea.
you know, that's in service. And if
Yeah.
people want more, they, just like what Johnny Manziel would say, and I'm not a cutthroat. I would never charge outrageous prices on anything. They can hire me as a mentor, whether it's a business, whether it's personal development. I mean, I can help you answer everything, except, I mean, don't hire me on how to be a perfect husband, because divorce. So
Right.
with somebody, you can ask me advice on marketing, on growing, shit, asking out chicks, doing whatever, building rapport. Just don't ask me on how to be a perfect husband, because obviously I failed at that, and a lot of times we always ask the wrong people for.
Right, right, right. But so what's the future plans for you? Yeah, so you're moving on. If you could share them.
Yeah, for sure. My future plans, 60, 60 days. I won't be, I'll be an entrepreneur, but I took on a position as COO of, it's called Bright Lights Message. It's a self-publishing company, and that
Okay.
books like this and all that, I want to help people discover their inner voice, because a lot of people do have a compelling story.
Right.
Not everybody has a book. I don't believe that, but I do believe that a lot of us have something to give to the world. So to help that, I'm also going to speak as many podcasts, webinars that people want. The ultimate goal is I want to get up on stages,
Right.
big stages, spread the message that, hey, if a kid from a lower middle class neighborhood can make it, you too. So yeah, I would love to do that. I'm going to coach businesses, coach people, and ultimately the service is through the book, through webinars, and also I would love to go to churches and spread the message, because we believe, a lot of people of faith, they believe in God, they believe in Jesus, but they don't believe in themselves. Which
Yeah, you're right. You're right with that. You're right with that. And and I think you when you get to that stage level, I think you're gonna be absolutely fantastic at speaking on the stages and everything. I see that like that. That's what I think your thing is, man. That's what I see.
and
So
just think, a guy that couldn't even talk to people.
Goose.
I have, yeah, Goose, man, and literally, but yeah, to be in service, because I've heard so many people, oh, my life sucks, but my treasure awaits in heaven and all that, and it's like, no, dude, if you believe, we're all of us are believers, but if you believe that God made you in His image, are you telling me He made you to struggle? He made you to be mediocre?
Right.
He made you to be average? No, he made each and every one of us to excel. The only problem is that we all got free will, and a lot of people want easy street, and it's not going to
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. So before I let you go, let me just say you have an awesome social media. The advice you give on there in Facebook, Instagram. So where can everybody? Instagram's kind of the big one that everybody goes to. So where can they find you at?
Omar Medrano 73, and you can either friend me on Facebook, or I'm on public, so you can cyber stalk me like my ex-girlfriends and all that. Other people, Omar Medrano, and you can even go on omarmedrano.com. It's my website. You can hire me that way. You can also read articles. I write articles for and blogs. So just that's a great way of just keeping in contact with me. And I'm also like the St. Jude of people. If somebody really needs help and all that, like you, Greg, I'm only
Absolutely.
I'm only a text. I'm only a DM away.
That's it. You're old man. I hit you up so many times, man. Hey, you've been a great friend, and I appreciate you so much. This has been amazing, and man, I hope we get to work together in the future
No,
for
we
sure.
will. I promise you that, and make sure, and I'll make sure to sign the copies of the book when we have.
Yes, please, because I'm going to give them away. So, yeah, if you can sign them, that'd be great, man.
Greg, dream big. The only thing that separates you from anybody else that was successful is their imagination was bigger. Expand your mind, expand your vision. And yes, I want backstage passes when you hit it big.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Well,
And I
man,
don't mean watching you at Coach Bert's friggin' lodge. I'm talking
the
about
big
like
time.
the big time. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's where we're going. Straight to the top, right? On the
All the
way
way
up.
to the top. All the way
On the
up.
way
It's
up.
like what Fat Joe would say.
That's it. That's it. That's it, man.
All
You've
right,
been,
brother, I love you. You know how to
thank you,
contact
brother.
me. You know, I'm always a phone call away for you, Greg.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you've been an inspiration. Thank you so much for all the value you brought tonight. And I'll see you at the end of August.
Definitely, brother. Take care. I love you.
All right. Thanks. Omar. I love you too, bro.
Okay. Take care.